Hey everyone, and welcome back to Talk in English. So glad you could join us in our cozy little corner tonight.
Hi, guys. I'm Daniel. We're here to chat in real, everyday English.
I have to say, the vibe in the studio is perfect for tonight's topic. Looking out at the city lights with a warm cup of coffee right here just feels right.
It really does. It's the kind of atmosphere that makes you want to have a real conversation, not just small talk.
Exactly. And that is what we are doing today. We are diving into something we all experience every single second, but often struggle to explain.
We are talking about human emotions.
It sounds like a huge, complicated subject, doesn't it? But actually, the problem usually starts with a very small, simple habit.
Right. It starts with the most common lie we tell every day. The answer to the question, how are you?
Oh, I know this trap. Someone asks me, "How are you, Sophia?" And my brain goes on autopilot. I just say, "I'm fine."
We all do it. You could be having the best day of your life, or you could be totally stressed out, but you still say, I'm fine.
It's safe, it's polite, but honestly, it's a conversation killer. It shuts the door on any real connection.
That is the key point. If you want to connect with people, or if you want people to really understand you, I'm fine isn't enough. You need nuance.
You need the specific words to paint the picture. There's a world of difference between being happy and being thrilled.
Or between being sad and being heartbroken. Precision matters. It helps others know how to react to you.
So, today we are going to expand your emotional vocabulary. We're going to look at the spectrum from the highs to the lows.
We'll keep it practical. We aren't psychologists, we're just looking for the right words for real life situations.
So, let's make a deal. For the next 20 minutes, let's ban the phrase, "I'm fine."
Deal. Let's aim for accuracy. And I think we should start with the positive emotions first.
I agree. Let's talk about happiness. But as we know, not all happiness is created equal. So let's start at the bottom of the energy scale. I think this is where real life happens most of the time.
I agree. We often chase these huge moments of joy, but honestly, most of our happy moments are actually quiet.
Exactly. Like right now, I'm looking out the window, the city is glowing, I have my notes in front of me. I'm not jumping up and down, but I feel good.
That feeling is what we call being content. It's a very underrated word.
Content. It sounds so simple, but it actually means you are at peace with where you are. You don't need anything else to change right this second.
Right, it's the absence of stress. For me, being content is usually on a Sunday morning. I have my coffee, I have a book, and I don't have to check my emails. That is pure contentment.
That sounds lovely. It's a sustainable kind of happiness. You can stay content for a long time. But happy can sometimes feel like a spike that goes up and down.
There is another word that fits here, which is satisfied. But satisfied usually implies you finished a task.
Oh, that's a good distinction. Like, after we finish recording this episode, I will feel satisfied. But right now, sitting here, I am content.
See? Nuance. Now let's dial up the energy a little bit. What about when you are actively in a good mood?
I often use the word cheerful for people, but I don't usually say, "I am cheerful." That sounds a bit like a character in a children's book.
True. In conversation, we usually just say, I'm in a good mood, or I'm in high spirits.
Or if we are reacting to news, we might say we are pleased or glad.
Pleased is interesting. It can sound a little formal, like a boss saying, I'm pleased with your work.
Yeah, I wouldn't tell my best friend, "I am pleased to see you." That sounds like I'm a queen greeting a subject.
Exactly. You'd say, I'm so glad to see you. Glad is warm. Pleased is polite.
Okay, so we have content, we have glad. Now, Daniel, I want to know what makes you lose that cool, logical composure. What makes you really excited?
You know me, it takes a lot. But I am a huge music nerd. I collect old vinyl records.
I knew you were going to say that.
Last month, I walked into this dusty old shop and I found this specific jazz album from 1958 that I have been looking for 5 years.
Oh, wow. So at that moment, you weren't just glad.
No, I was thrilled. My heart actually started beating faster.
Thrilled is such a great word. It implies a physical reaction. It's like a rush of adrenaline.
Exactly. I was thrilled to find it. It means excitement mixed with delight.
I get that feeling when I plan a trip. The moment I book the plane tickets, I am thrilled.
There are some great slang words for this level of happiness, too. If you're talking to friends, you probably wouldn't say thrilled.
No, I would say I'm stoked.
Stoked is a classic. It comes from surfer culture, I think, but everyone uses it now. I'm stoked for the weekend.
Or pumped, like I'm so pumped for the concert. It sounds energetic, like you are ready to run a marathon.
Pumped is very active. You wouldn't say I'm pumped to take a nap.
No, definitely not. You'd be stoked for a nap, maybe, but not pumped.
So we have content, glad, thrilled, stoked, but what about the peak, the absolute top of the mountain?
This is when something life-changing happens, like getting your dream job, or getting engaged, or having a baby.
For those moments, happy is almost an insult. It's too small. You need a word like ecstatic.
Ecstatic. It sounds like electricity. It means you are overwhelmed with joy.
Or another beautiful word is elated. E-L-A-T-E-D. It literally means lifted up.
I love that image, like you're floating on air. I felt elated when my sister told me she was having twins. I was just bursting.
That is the perfect time to use idioms, too. You were probably on cloud nine.
I was definitely on cloud nine, or over the moon.
Over the moon is a favorite of mine. It's vivid. It says, my happiness is so big I have left the planet.
And the funny thing is, you can't stay ecstatic forever. It's exhausting.
That's a really good point. Ecstasy is a spike. You feel it, you celebrate it, and then eventually you come back down to being content.
And that's okay. We're not meant to be over the moon 24 hours a day. We'd never get any work done.
Exactly. But knowing the difference allows you to share the moment properly. If you tell me you found that vinyl record and you just say, it was good, I don't get to celebrate with you.
But if you say, Daniel, I was absolutely thrilled, then I can feel your energy. I can get excited with you.
That is the power of vocabulary. It transfers the emotion from one person to another.
So, listeners, here's a quick challenge for you. Think about your week. Were you just happy? Or were you content with a quiet moment? Were you stoked about a plan?
Try to label it. Be specific.
But of course, as we said in the beginning, we can't talk about the light without talking about the shadow.
Right. We have to go to the other end of the spectrum, the feelings we usually try to hide.
Sadness. It's heavy, but we need to talk about it.
And just like happiness, sad is a lazy word. There's a big difference between having a bad day and truly being heartbroken.
Let's break that down in the next part. Okay, so we've talked about the heavy, slow feeling of sadness. But sometimes when things go wrong, we don't shut down. We heat up.
We certainly do. We're talking about anger. But just like sadness, anger is a big umbrella. Underneath it, you have everything from a tiny mosquito bite of annoyance to a volcanic explosion.
I love that image, a mosquito bite versus a volcano. Let's start with the mosquito bites, the small things.
These are the daily irritations. Someone cuts in line, the internet is slow, or, and this is my personal pet peeve, people chewing loudly.
Oh, I know that one gets to you. For these situations, you wouldn't say, I am furious. You'd say, I'm annoyed.
Or I'm irritated. It's a low-level buzzing feeling.
A very common casual phrase here is, it bugs me. Like, it really bugs me when people leave the lights on.
That's perfect. It's small, like a bug. Another one that's a bit stronger is ticked off.
I was a little ticked off. It sounds sharp. It implies you successfully held your temper, but you didn't like it.
Exactly. You roll your eyes, maybe you let out a heavy sigh, but you move on.
But what happens when the irritation doesn't go away, when you're trying to do something but you keep hitting a wall?
That is the specific territory of frustration.
I think frustration is distinct from anger. Anger is usually at a person or an event. Frustration is about lack of progress.
Yes, it's that feeling when you're trying to explain something and the other person just doesn't get it. You feel your jaw clench, your shoulders get tight.
Physical tension is a big part of frustration. You might say, "I'm so frustrated right now," or if it's been going on for a long time, "I'm fed up."
I'm fed up. That means my cup is full. I have no more patience left.
A similar one is "I've had it," as in, "I've had it with this computer."
That's usually the moment before you walk away to cool down. But let's say you don't walk away. Let's say the situation escalates.
Now we enter the zone of real anger. This is where the temperature rises. You feel hot.
In casual English, especially in the US, you will hear mad a lot more than angry. Why are you so mad?
And if you are really mad, you might say pissed off.
Cautionary tone. Now that is a very common phrase, but learners should know it is slightly vulgar. It's not a swear word you'd get fired for, but you wouldn't say it to your grandmother.
Good point. Use pissed off with friends, but maybe not in a job interview. It means you're genuinely angry.
But what if it's beyond that? What if someone betrayed you or put your family in danger?
Then mad is too weak. You are furious.
Furious. F-U-R-I-O-U-S. It sounds like fire. It means you're losing control.
When you are furious, you might be shouting. Your face might turn red.
Or you might go the other way. You might be livid.
Ooh, livid is scary. To me, furious is hot and loud. Livid is cold and quiet.
I agree. Livid is a pale, shaking kind of rage. If my boss looks at me and says, "I am absolutely livid," I know I'm in big trouble.
There's also a great visual idiom for this level of anger: seeing red.
I was so mad I saw red. It means your vision was literally clouded by your rage. You couldn't think straight.
That's the danger zone. When you see red, you say things you regret.
But, Sophia, there is one specific type of anger we haven't mentioned yet, and I think it might be relevant to our listeners, and maybe to me right now.
Are you looking at the empty cookie plate, Daniel?
I might be. I realized I skipped lunch before we started recording.
Uh-oh, are you getting hangry?
I think I'm definitely entering hangry territory.
For those who don't know, hangry is a combination of hungry and angry. It's when your blood sugar drops and suddenly everything is annoying.
It is a very real physiological condition. When I'm hangry, I don't need therapy. I need a sandwich.
It's true. Sometimes we think we are furious at the world, but actually we just need a snack.
It's a good check-in mechanism. Before you start an argument, ask yourself, am I mad or am I just hungry?
Or tired, or stressed.
Exactly. Anger is often a secondary emotion. It covers up other things.
Speaking of things lurking underneath, anger is usually loud and visible, but there is another negative emotion that is quiet, creeping, and honestly much harder to shake.
Yes, the one that keeps us awake at night.
Fear, and its modern cousin, anxiety.
Let's take a deep breath, maybe grab a snack quickly, and then talk about stress and fear.
So we've covered the sunny days. But as we look out the window tonight, it's raining. And honestly, life rains sometimes.
It does, and this is where that "I'm fine" trap we talked about really does some damage. Because when you are sad, saying you are fine is actually exhausting.
It takes so much energy to pretend, doesn't it? But I think one reason we pretend is that we don't know how to say we are sad without making it a big, dramatic scene.
Exactly. We feel like if we say anything negative, we are being a burden. But again, it comes down to vocabulary. There is a spectrum of sadness.
Let's start with the mild end. You know those days where nothing terrible happened, but you just feel heavy.
Yes, the alarm goes off, you drag yourself out of bed, and everything just feels like more effort than usual. You aren't crying, you're just low energy.
For that, I usually say I'm feeling a bit down, or I'm feeling a bit blue.
Feeling blue is a classic idiom. It's soft. It doesn't scream for help. It just signals, hey, I'm not at 100% today.
Another one I use a lot is I'm in a funk.
Oh, that's a good one. In a funk. It implies that it's temporary, like, I don't know why, I'm just in a funk today.
Exactly. Or I'm feeling off. This is great because it's so vague. It could be physical, it could be emotional. It just means something isn't right.
I think feeling off is very useful for professional settings. If a colleague asks how you are and you don't want to lie but you don't want to overshare, you just say, I'm feeling a bit off today, to be honest.
It's honest, but it sets a boundary. People usually respect that. They won't push you to be cheerful.
Now, let's move to when there is a specific reason. Maybe you didn't get the promotion, or you had a fight with a friend, or you canceled a trip.
So you are reacting to something specific. In that case, sad feels a bit childish. I might use upset.
Upset is versatile. It can mean sad, it can mean angry, it can mean worried. It's a messy mix.
Or if you are disappointed, you could use bummed out. That's very American. I didn't get tickets to the show. I'm super bummed.
In the UK, we have a stronger word for that. We say we are gutted.
Gutted. That sounds visceral, like you've been punched in the stomach.
It is strong. If my favorite sports team loses the final in the last minute, I am gutted. It means a deep, hollow feeling of disappointment.
That's a great word to know. It validates the feeling. I'm gutted sounds much more real than I'm sad about the game.
But then we have to talk about the heavy stuff, the moments that change your life. Loss, grief, heartbreak.
Yeah, this is the hardest part to talk about. When you lose someone or a relationship ends, feeling blue isn't even in the same universe.
No, for that we use words like devastated.
Devastated. It literally means destroyed, like a building that has been knocked down. That's how it feels inside.
Or heartbroken. We hear it in songs all the time, but when you actually feel it, it's a physical pain.
It really is. And there's another word I think is important here, grief. Grief isn't just an emotion, it's a process.
That's a profound distinction. You can feel sad, but you go through grief. It's a journey. You might say, I'm grieving.
And when you're in that state, you're incredibly vulnerable. And being vulnerable is scary.
Especially, I think, for men. There's often this pressure to tough it out, but admitting you're hurting is actually very brave.
So how do we express that vulnerability without falling apart completely? Let's say you're talking to a friend.
I think using phrases like, I'm going through a rough patch is very helpful.
A rough patch. I like that imagery. It implies that the road is bumpy right now, but the road continues. It will get smooth again eventually.
Or simply saying, I'm struggling a bit right now.
That word, struggling, is powerful. It admits that things are hard and you're fighting to keep going. It invites empathy.
And if you're on the receiving end of that, if someone tells you, I'm struggling, please don't tell them to cheer up.
Oh, absolutely not. Cheer up is the worst thing you can say. It invalidates their pain.
Instead, just listen. Say something simple like, I'm so sorry to hear that, or I can't imagine how hard that is.
Or even just, I'm here for you. Sometimes knowing someone is sitting in the dark with you is enough.
That's it. You don't have to fix it. You just have to witness it.
You know, talking about this, it feels heavy, but it also feels like a relief. Just saying these words out loud takes some of their power away.
It does. It makes them manageable. We're human. We aren't robots designed to be happy 24/7.
Exactly. But there is another emotion that is often mixed with sadness, or sometimes covers up sadness.
Ah, yes, the fiery one. Anger.
Sometimes it's easier to be mad than to be sad.
Or sometimes we are just plain annoyed. Let's shift gears and talk about heat. Let's talk about anger and frustration.
So, Daniel, you've had your snack? You aren't hangry anymore?
I am much better, thank you. The red mist has cleared.
Good, because now we need to talk about the emotions that don't just flash and disappear like anger. We need to talk about the ones that stick around.
We're talking about the big three of modern life: stress, anxiety, and fear.
These words get used interchangeably all the time, but they feel very different in the body.
Let's start with stress. Stress is usually a reaction to a demand. You have too much work or a deadline is coming up.
Right. When I'm stressed out, I feel pressure. It's like a weight on my shoulders. I'm rushing. I'm busy.
Exactly. Stressed out is about external things. I'm stressed about the project. But usually, if you finish the project, the stress goes away.
But if the stress doesn't go away, if you stay in that high pressure zone for months,
Then you hit burnout.
burnout is such a vivid word. It sounds like a candle that has nothing left to give. You aren't just tired, you are empty.
That's when you stop caring. Stress is too much engagement. Burnout is no engagement.
That's a scary place to be. But let's shift to nervous. How is that different?
Nervous is situational. It's about a specific event in the future. I'm nervous about my presentation tomorrow.
Or, I'm nervous about this first date. It's that butterflies in the stomach feeling. It's uncomfortable, but it's rational.
Right, it makes sense to be nervous. But anxiety is a trickster.
Ugh, anxiety is the worst. Anxiety is like being nervous, but the event might never happen. Or maybe there is no event at all.
Exactly. Anxiety is vague. It's a general sense of unease or dread. You aren't worried about something, you are just worried.
I call it the hum. It's like a refrigerator noise in the background of your mind. You're sitting on your couch, everything is fine, but your brain is whispering, something is wrong.
That is the perfect description. And physically, it feels like you are on edge.
On edge, like you are standing on a cliff waiting to fall. You're jumpy.
This brings us to the fascinating distinction between rational fear and irrational anxiety.
Okay, break it down for us, logic man.
Imagine you are walking in the jungle and you see a tiger. Your heart races, your palms sweat, your adrenaline spikes. That is fear.
And that is useful. That fear helps me run away and survive.
Exactly. Fear is a survival mechanism. It is a reaction to immediate, real danger.
But there are no tigers in our recording studio, Daniel.
Correct. But our brains are still wired for the jungle. So when you get a rude email from your boss at 10 p.m.,
My body reacts like it's a tiger. My heart races, I can't sleep.
precisely, that is anxiety. It is a survival response firing at the wrong time. It is irrational. Your life is not in danger, but your body thinks it is.
Knowing that actually helps. When I'm spiraling, when one worry leads to another and another, I try to ask myself, is there a tiger?
Spiraling is a great word for that mental trap. You go down the rabbit hole of what if.
What if I get fired? What if I lose my apartment? What if I have to live in a box?
And suddenly, you are hyperventilating over an email. That is catastrophizing, imagining the absolute worst-case scenario.
There's a specific cultural term for this kind of anxiety that happens on the weekend, the Sunday scaries.
Ah, yes, that feeling of dread on Sunday evening because Monday is coming. You aren't at work yet, but you're already suffering.
I get the Sunday scaries bad sometimes. I just pace around the apartment.
So what happens if that anxiety gets too big to handle, if the pot boils over?
Then you might have a panic attack.
Or, in casual slang, you might freak out.
I'm freaking out. It means I'm losing my cool completely.
A panic attack is intense. It feels like you can't breathe. It feels like a heart attack.
It's terrifying. And if you see someone freaking out, telling them to calm down is about as useful as telling a drowning person to just swim.
True, you have to ground them. Just like with grief, you just have to be there.
You know, talking about fear and anxiety, it's heavy, but looking at it logically, tigers versus emails, makes it feel a little smaller.
That's the goal. If you can name the monster, it becomes less scary. You can say, "Oh, I'm not dying. I'm just anxious."
This is just a feeling, it's not a fact.
Exactly. Feelings are real, but they aren't always facts.
I love that. I need to write that on a sticky note. Feelings aren't facts.
So we've covered the whole map, from the heights of ecstasy to the depths of grief, the heat of anger, and the fog of anxiety.
We have thrown a lot of words at our listeners today.
We certainly have. Maybe we should pause and organize them a bit.
Good idea. Let's head into our language focus. We're going to look at some of the best idioms and phrasal verbs to bundle all these feelings up. All right, we have talked about the feelings themselves. Now, let's look at the machinery of the language.
I love that phrase, machinery, because English has so many idioms that treat emotions like physical objects or forces.
It really does, especially when it comes to managing or mismanaging our feelings.
Let's start with the most common mistake people make with negative emotions. We treat them like a liquid in a jar. We bottle them up.
Bottle up. It's such a perfect image. You take your anger, your sadness, your stress, and you shove it into a bottle and put the cork on tight.
You suppress it. You don't talk about it. He just bottles up his emotions until he explodes.
And that is the danger, right? If you shake a soda bottle and keep the lid on, eventually, boom.
Exactly. And that leads to our next phrasal verb. When the bottle explodes, you lash out.
Lash out. This is a tricky one. It means you attack someone verbally, usually someone who doesn't deserve it.
Right. It's misdirected anger. Let's say you had a terrible day at work. Your boss yelled at you. You bottled it up.
Then you come home and your husband asks, "What's for dinner?" And you just scream at him.
That is lashing out. You are snapping at him like a whip.
I am definitely guilty of that. It's the classic kick the cat scenario. You feel bad, so you make someone else feel bad.
A similar phrase for that sudden explosion is to snap.
I just snapped. It implies a breaking point, like a dry twig. Snap.
So the healthy opposite of bottling up isn't lashing out, it is venting.
To vent, like an air vent in a house. It lets the pressure out slowly and safely.
When you call your friend and complain for 20 minutes about your day, you are venting. You aren't asking for a solution, you are just releasing the pressure.
And a good friend knows the difference. They know when to offer advice and when to just let you vent.
Now, let's look at what happens when the sadness or stress becomes too heavy to carry, when the structure collapses.
We use the phrase fall apart.
She fell apart when she heard the news. It means you lose your composure completely. You can't function.
It's a very visual phrase. You are a machine or a building, and suddenly the pieces are on the floor.
A similar one is break down. You can have a mental breakdown or an emotional breakdown.
Or just in the moment, I broke down in tears. It means the car has stopped running. You are on the side of the road crying.
And what do you tell someone when they fall apart? Please don't say calm down.
No, a slightly tough love phrase is pull yourself together.
It's the opposite of falling apart. You are gathering the pieces and rebuilding yourself. Come on, pull yourself together.
It's a bit harsh, though. I'd be careful using that on a friend who is grieving. Maybe save that for yourself in the mirror.
Agreed. Now, let's shift the geography. Let's talk about high and low.
We already mentioned feeling blue, but there's another classic one for being sad or depressed. Down in the dumps.
Down in the dumps. It sounds almost cartoonish, but it's very common.
He's been down in the dumps since he lost his job.
The dumps historically referred to a depression or a low mental state, but it sounds like the city dump where the garbage goes.
So it's a place where you feel low, dirty, and unwanted. It's a sad place to be.
But if you go to the complete opposite altitude,
You are on cloud 9.
why 9? I've always wondered, why not cloud 10?
I actually looked this up once. There are a few theories, but one is from the classification of clouds. Cloud 9 was the highest type of cumulonimbus cloud, the fluffy giant ones.
Look at you with the meteorology facts. So being on cloud 9 literally means sitting on the highest, fluffiest cloud.
Exactly. It's dreamy. She's been on cloud nine since she got engaged.
Another one for being happy, but maybe a more active kind of happy, is walking on air.
I'm walking on air. It means you feel weightless. Your problems can't touch you.
But let's go back to irritation for a second. There is a wall idiom I use all the time.
Let me guess. Driving you up the wall?
That's the one. This noise is driving me up the wall.
It gives me the image of a cat that is so panicked or annoyed it literally climbs the wallpaper.
It creates a sense of being trapped. You are so annoyed you want to escape, but you can't, so you go up.
A synonym for that would be getting on my nerves.
It's really getting on my nerves. That feels more like a physical sensation, like something scratching your skin.
And finally, what about when you don't know what you feel, when it's a mess?
Then you have mixed feelings.
I have mixed feelings about moving. Part of me is excited, part of me is sad.
Or you might say it's a bittersweet moment.
Bittersweet. Like dark chocolate. It hurts a little, but it's also good. Watching your kids grow up is bittersweet.
Or leaving a job you loved for a better opportunity.
And if your emotions are changing rapidly, like 1 minute you're laughing, the next you're crying,
That is an emotional roller coaster.
this week has been an emotional roller coaster.
It implies you aren't driving. You are strapped in and the ride is throwing you up, down, and around.
And usually you just want to get off.
Definitely. So we have bottles, walls, clouds, roller coasters, and dumps.
English really is a very visual language, isn't it?
It is, and mastering these images is what makes you sound fluent. It's not just about saying, I was sad. It's about saying, I fell apart.
It paints a picture in the listener's mind.
Exactly. But knowing the phrases is one thing. Using them correctly in a sentence is another.
That's right. So let's move to our practice section. We're going to help you get these words out of your head and onto your tongue.
Let's flex those emotional muscles.
Welcome to the Practice Lab. This is where we take all those words we just learned and actually put them to work.
Because let's be honest, reading the phrase, I'm devastated, is easy. Looking someone in the eye and saying it, that is terrifying.
It is, especially if you are used to the I'm fine robot response. Breaking that habit takes muscle memory.
So today, we are going to focus on one specific skill, how to say, I'm not okay without making things weird.
We call this the graceful no. You are saying, no, I'm not fine, but you are doing it with grace, so the conversation keeps moving.
We'll do this in 3 levels, professional, casual, and deep. I'll say the line first, then I'll leave a quiet space for you to repeat it out loud.
Don't just whisper it in your head. Say it to the room. Scare your cat if you have to. You need to hear your own voice.
All right, let's start with level 1, the professional context.
Imagine you are at work. Your colleague asks, how are you doing? You're stressed, maybe a bit burned out, but you can't start crying in the break room.
You need a phrase that signals it's busy without being overly dramatic. Here's the first one.
Listen to the intonation here. It's light, almost a bit sarcastic.
I'm hanging in there. I'm hanging in there.
That is such a classic. It means I haven't fallen off the cliff yet, but I'm holding on.
Exactly. It's safe. Here's another one for when work is crazy.
It's been one of those weeks. It's been one of those weeks.
I love this one because you don't even have to say what kind of week. Everyone knows. One of those weeks implies stress and chaos.
And notice Daniel didn't say, I am sad. He focused on the time. It's less personal. It protects you.
Now let's move to level 2, the casual context. You are having coffee with a friend. You aren't best friends, but you can be real.
They ask, how have you been? And you want to signal that things aren't perfect.
The key here is to use a softener at the end. It takes the sharp edge off the negative statement.
Try this one. It's honest, but polite.
I've been better, to be honest. I've been better, to be honest.
That phrase, to be honest, is magic. It signals to the listener, I am trusting you with the truth now.
Right, and usually the friend will ask, oh no, what's wrong? And then you can choose to share or not.
Here's another one for when you feel scattered or anxious.
I'm a bit all over the place today. I'm a bit all over the place today.
I use this all the time. If I forget my keys or I'm rushing, I just say, sorry, I'm all over the place.
It frames your anxiety as a temporary state of disorganization. It's very relatable.
Okay, now take a deep breath. We're going to level 3, the deep context.
This is for your partner, your best friend, or your family. This is vulnerability.
The goal here isn't to be polite. The goal here is to be clear.
We mentioned this in part 3, but let's practice it. This is for when you are hurting.
Listen to the drop in Daniel's voice. It's lower, it's slower.
I'm struggling a bit right now. I'm struggling a bit right now.
That word struggling is heavy. Make sure you don't say it with a smile. Your face needs to match your words.
Let's try one more for when you just feel off, when the sadness doesn't have a name.
I'm just not feeling like myself. I'm just not feeling like myself.
That is a beautiful sentence. It says, the person you know is still here, but right now I'm hidden under a cloud.
Okay, you guys are doing great. Now let's switch it up. We're going to play a quick game of fill in the blank.
We'll give you a situation and start the sentence for you. You have to finish it using one of the idioms we learned earlier.
Ready? Situation 1. You are so angry at your boss, you feel like you're going to explode, but you're trying to hold it in. You are what?
I am bottling it up.
Did you get that? Bottling it up. Don't do that, by the way. It's unhealthy.
Situation 2. You just got great news. Maybe you found that rare vinyl record. You aren't just happy, you're floating. You are on what?
I am on cloud 9.
Cloud 9, the best place to be.
Situation 3. Everything is going wrong. Your car broke down, you lost your wallet, the dog is sick, you feel like you can't handle it anymore. You are going to what?
I am going to fall apart or have a breakdown, but fall apart is very descriptive.
Okay, one last tip before we finish the practice. What happens if you share too much?
Oh, the vulnerability hangover, when you tell someone you are sad and then you feel awkward afterwards.
You need a walk-back phrase, something to normalize the conversation again.
If you feel like you complained for too long, just say this: thanks for listening. I needed to vent.
Thanks for listening. I needed to vent.
That puts a nice bow on the conversation. It tells the other person, okay, I'm done complaining now. We can go back to normal.
Or simply, sorry for unloading on you.
Sorry for unloading on you.
It acknowledges that emotions are heavy and you just put some of your weight on them.
And a good friend will always say, don't apologize, that's what I'm here for.
Exactly. So practice these phrases. Try them out in the mirror.
Start with I'm hanging in there. It's the easiest one. See how it feels to stop saying I'm fine.
It might feel weird at first, but it opens the door to much better conversations.
Now that we know how to say it, we need to understand who we can say it to, because not every culture handles emotion the same way.
Oh, that is a huge topic. The rules for crying in London are very different from the rules in New York or Tokyo. Let's dive into the cultural side of emotions in our next section. So, we've practiced the words. We know how to say, I'm struggling or I'm thrilled, but knowing how to say it is only half the battle.
The other half is knowing when and where to say it, because emotions don't exist in a vacuum. They exist in culture.
Oh, absolutely. I learned this the hard way when I traveled. In some cultures, being open about your feelings is seen as authentic and brave. In others, it's seen as, well,
Messy? Or even rude?
exactly. Like, why are you burdening me with your problems?
Take my home country, the UK, for example. We're famous for the stiff upper lip.
The stiff upper lip. It sounds so uncomfortable. What does it actually mean?
It refers to the physical reaction of trembling when you're about to cry. Your lip shakes. So keeping a stiff upper lip means you suppress that emotion. You show stoicism in the face of adversity.
So if your house burns down, you just say, well, that's a bit inconvenient.
Pretty much. Mustn't grumble. It's a culture that values keeping your cool. But the downside is we often bottle things up until it's too late.
Contrast that with, say, the United States. The culture there tends to be much more expressive. You hear people say, "I love you," to friends they just met, or share their life story in an Uber.
It's a high disclosure culture. And then you have cultures in parts of Asia, for example, where emotions are often communicated indirectly. Silence speaks louder than words.
Right. Saying, "I am angry," might be considered too confrontational. Instead, you might just become quiet or withdraw. You have to read the air.
So, as a language learner, you have to read the room. If you are in a business meeting in London, maybe save the emotional roller coaster story for the pub later.
But there is another layer to this, Daniel. It's not just about country, it's about gender.
Ah, yes, the man box.
We touched on this earlier. Men are often taught that the only acceptable negative emotion is anger. Sadness, fear, vulnerability, those are labeled as weak.
It's changing, thankfully, but I still catch myself doing it. If I'm sad, I try to fix it or ignore it. I don't just sit with it.
And that leads us to a huge buzzword right now: toxic positivity.
This is such an important concept. Toxic positivity is the belief that you should always maintain a positive mindset no matter how difficult the situation is.
It sounds good on paper, good vibes only, but in reality, it can be really damaging.
Imagine you tell a friend, "I just lost my job and I'm scared," and they reply, "Don't worry, everything happens for a reason. Just smile."
That makes me want to scream. It feels dismissive. It's like they're saying, "Your pain is inconvenient for me, so please cover it up with a smile."
Exactly. That is invalidating. It tells the person that their feelings are wrong.
So, what is the antidote? How do we be positive without being toxic?
We use validation.
Validation doesn't mean you agree with the feeling or that you can fix the problem. It just means you acknowledge it exists.
Instead of "look on the bright side," you say, "That sounds really tough. I'm sorry you're going through that."
Or simply, "It's okay not to be okay."
That is the golden rule. It's okay not to be okay. It gives people permission to be human.
And strangely, when you validate someone's sadness, they usually feel better faster because they don't have to fight the feeling anymore.
It's the paradox of emotion. If you push it away, it grows. If you acknowledge it, it shrinks.
So whether you're talking to a British person with a stiff upper lip or an American wearing their heart on their sleeve, the universal language is empathy.
Empathy translates into every language.
I think that's a beautiful place to start wrapping up today. We have covered so much ground today.
From the vocabulary of joy to the grammar of grief. Let's do a quick rewind and look at the map we drew today.
Wow, we really went on a journey today, didn't we?
We did. We started with a simple cookie and we ended up discussing cultural philosophy. That is the beauty of conversation.
And I hope for everyone listening that your emotional dictionary feels a little heavier now.
In a good way. Let's do a quick rewind and look at the map we drew today.
First, we made a promise to break the "I'm fine" habit, because "I'm fine" is a conversation stopper.
Instead, we learned to look for nuance. On the happy side, we distinguished between being quietly content, like sitting here with coffee, and being absolutely thrilled or ecstatic.
And on the tougher days, we learned that it's okay to say, "I'm feeling a bit off" or "I'm in a funk" for the small stuff.
And for the big, life-changing moments, we have words like devastated or heartbroken. Using those strong words isn't being dramatic, it's being accurate.
We also talked about the heat of anger, from the mosquito bite of being annoyed or ticked off, all the way to the volcano of being furious or livid.
And let's not forget my personal favorite condition, being hangry. Please eat a snack before you start an argument.
Good life advice. Then we tackled the modern monsters: stress, anxiety, and burnout.
Remembering the difference between a tiger, real fear, and an email, anxiety, can really help you keep your cool.
And finally, we looked at the machinery. We learned not to bottle up our feelings until we lash out.
Instead, we should find a safe place to vent. Because remember, it's okay not to be okay.
Validation is key. Just listening and saying, "I'm sorry you're struggling," is often better than trying to fix everything.
So here's our question for you guys tonight. We want to know about your happy spectrum.
Yes, in the comments, tell us what is one thing that makes you feel content and one thing that makes you feel thrilled.
I want to see the difference. Is content a warm bath? Is thrilled riding a roller coaster? Give us your specific examples.
Or if you've had a tough week, feel free to practice the phrase, "It's been one of those weeks." We are listening and we're here for it.
This community is a safe space to practice, so don't be shy.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us in the studio tonight. I think the rain has finally stopped outside.
It looks like it. A calm end to a deep episode.
As always, if you enjoyed this conversation, please hit that like button and subscribe. It really helps us keep the lights on and the coffee brewing.
And helps us buy more cookies.
Especially the cookies.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Take care of yourselves and take care of your feelings.
We'll see you in the next one. Good night.
Bye, guys.